Hey cool cats, Roz and Neko here. Have you played Piofiore Faded Memories and thought, I want to play this again, but add Shakespeare's stories into it? Well, then you would have Piofiore 1926, the follow-up edition to the first game, Piofiore Faded Memories. Since this is a follow-up to the first game, some parts of the review will touch lightly on the review topics. Those review topics being setting, common route, characters, character route, gameplay, game bonuses, and final thoughts. I would highly recommend checking out my review of the first game before watching the review of the second game. Well, go on now. Yeah. The setting takes place in the town of Berlin in Italy. The game does dive into other areas such as America, Germany, and France, but only for a moment. Our cast of characters are the same as the last, with the ever-shy Dante Falzone, the teasing Nicola Francesca, the ever-charismatic Gilbert Redford, the adorable Orlok, and Henry. The game made sure we wouldn't forget him. And of course, the ever-amazing cast of characters, along with a few new ones, especially one named Phantom, not a dating option, but definitely important in the alternative route. Since this is a follow-up route to the first game, we get to explore a relationship with the love interest, a year after getting together. Each relationship explores things such as fate, moving in together, opening up, and so forth. It definitely deepens the relationship with each character, and of course, we get more CGs with our favorite boys. And finally, Henry got his justice with his own route in the game. Get ready, kiddies, because his route was definitely not what I expected. I'm going to define the alternative route in this game as the common route, and boy, was it uncommon. Without giving much away, this route focuses on as if everyone, including the heroine, were friends. Friends that are being threatened by someone named Phantom. Classic. Phantom currently has his hands on the crown that he stole from the church. This is the bad view of the church if they have to walk around with a fake crown, so they request the mafia's help. In exchange for their help, the church in turn will help them. Currently, the government in Italy is changing and they want to get rid of the mafia. In order to do that, they would need the church's support. The church agrees to protect the mafia instead for a few years in exchange for the crown. This actually benefits each mafia group, so they agree. This then becomes not only a story on solving a weird and disturbing mystery, but also a chance to build a romantic relationship with our friends. It doesn't get deep as in the first game, but touches it enough lightly to be interesting, cute, and have shenanigans. A route where all the guys are after me? Nice. Follow-ups to a first game usually have other stories for each character and a side story or two. Piofiore 1926 did follow that tradition with a good follow-up stories with each character, short snippets to a tiny prelude to the alternative story, and a big alternative story in itself. Some of the bonuses in this game I would kind of count as the after stories that we have for each character. So Dante, Gilbert, Yang, Nicola, and Orlok. I was kind of surprised at first, but it isn't until you go through all of these stories do you then get to open the alternative episode. And once you finish that, then you also get Henry's story. He's a whole other after story, but that kind of makes sense because the alternative story is kind of like an introduction to Henry's story. It's really important, otherwise it kind of honestly wouldn't make sense. Some other game bonuses include more CGs with our boys, music, aria, which is kind of essentially chapter jumping, like if you wanted to focus on Dante's route, Gilbert's, Yang's, or anyone else's. Of course, the ever-popular dictionary, checking progress with our boys, and an advent calendar. I'm honestly not even sure why they added that part in here. The calendar is essentially the same thing as the alternative story. Here you can see the advent calendar, which says Part 1, events from January 1926. And then if you go to the alternative episode, you see that it's exactly the same thing. The only difference is that these are clear, are darkened out, and then you can also go to the big overall story, which is the final. The only thing that you can't do is that if you go back to the advent calendar, you can't go to the major story. But you can click the side stories from here or from the alternative episode. They'll play the same either way. Something that I did notice and really appreciate is that in these latest CGs, every one of our boys has a photo of them when they were younger. So in a way, we also get a little bit of a backstory with them. Do you want to try to guess who's who? Overall, the game was good, but not for me. I feel like there could have been more content like they gave us in Code Realize. Code Realize gave us a big and fun extra story and lots of side stories and content. In this game, Piofiore 1926, the alternative story and Henry's route especially read like one of Shakespeare's weird stories, where things got strange and really gruesome at random parts when it didn't even really feel necessary, especially when you compare it to the first game. In the first game, you can expect mafia-related things to happen in this mafia-related game. The second mafia game, I saw more stuff I expected to see in these darker series. Personally, 3 out of 5 toe beans. Not my taste, but without putting my personal intake for it, I'd give the setting a 5 out of 5. I like that they gave short snippets of different countries with our love interest. Common route, 5 out of 5 toe beans. As weird as it was actually pretty crafty. Characters, 4 out of 5 toe beans. Still a great cast of characters, and as much as I loved one of them, they could have been left out and everything would have stayed the same. Character routes, 5 out of 5 toe beans. Relationship development! They were all very different and all very intricate. Some of them played on typical things that you'll see in love stories, and some actually gave a great good perspective on relationships. Gameplay, 3 out of 5. It was tedious to get through and very dark. The first game touched on it lightly, but this game? Total game changer. Game bonuses, 3 out of 5. I feel like there could have been more or different content, but they may have focused on the stories more for this one, especially considering the big mystery behind it. Final score, 5 out of 5 toe beans. Great follow-up and great stories still overall. I'll be releasing a Kitty Corner video after. Kitty Corner is where I give my final spoiler-filled compliments or complaints of Otome games, anime, or manga that I finished. Don't miss out by joining the stampede and stomping over that like button, subscribing for more, and follow me on Twitch where I stream these Otome games live with my VTuber model. I'll see you cool cats next time.